Welcome to my American History Notes, where I discuss the conclusions that I've drawn from studying American history. You may not agree with my conclusions, any of my conclusions, but you should at least know about the people and events and places and concepts I'm discussing. Um, so I'm going to begin and continue. We're talking about the American Revolution. The War of Independence was not popular in America. Most of Washington's army expected to be discharged once independence was announced, as if George III was just going to give up once he read Jefferson's stirring words. He didn't. France joined in 1778 as an ally of the new country. Most Americans couldn't have cared less, and the Loyalists were hostile. One source I've read stated that less than 20% of the population of the colonies participated in the war, and most of them on the British side. In 1776, the colonies, with a population of 2.5 million people, could have fielded an army of 100,000, but they never could have fed more than 35,000. However, the army's numbers, which peaked at 18,000, had shrunk to 5,000 by the end of 1776, went back up to almost 20,000 in 1778, and began shrinking again. On August 27, 1776, the British skillfully defeated Washington's forces on Long Island, New York. And the only thing that can be said of Washington was that he skillfully retreated and evacuated Long Island in what is called a brilliant operation by historians. Connecticut Yankee Nathan Hale, excuse me, a captain in the Continental Army and widely considered America's first spy, was hanged after the battle, uttering the famous words, "I only regret I have but one life to lose for my country." On September 6th to 7th, 1776, the quote, American Turtle, a one man submarine operated by Sergeant Ezra Lee and crafted by David Bushnell, unsuccessfully attacked the British fleet off Staten Island. The psychological effect of this first use of warfare was more important than any accomplishment by it. On September 12, 1776, Washington decided to abandon New York, and American troops fled as the British attacked across the East River from Brooklyn on the 15th at the action at Kips Bay. Washington retreated again at the Battle of Harlem Heights on September 16th. The British drove the Americans from the field at the Battle of White Plains on October 28th. From November through December, Washington retreated through New Jersey, and General Charles Lee left behind to cover the retreat. With General Charles Lee left behind to cover the retreat, Lee allowed himself and 4,000 men to be captured near Morristown, New Jersey. Washington and the remaining 3,000 crossed the Delaware into Pennsylvania with Congress, fleeing from Philadelphia to Baltimore on December 12th. Confident of a speedy victory, British General Howe settled down into winter quarters with his army scattered around New Jersey and in New York City. On November 16th, 1776, as we are told by Barbara Tuchman in her book entitled The First Salute, the new country was first acknowledged by the Dutch with the ritual salute of a ship entering a foreign port at St. Eustatius at the West Indies. President Franklin Roosevelt in 1939 presented a plaque commemorating the event of Fort Orange deliberately by orders of the Dutch governor, replying to the U.S. warship, the Andrea Doria. On December 26, Washington took a gamble and, with 2,400 men from a disintegrating army, crossed the Delaware on Christmas night, 9 miles north of Trenton, and during a snowstorm, fell on the Hessian, that's German mercenaries, garrison, captured 1,000 of the 1,400 soldiers and a great amount of arms and munition. American losses were 2 men frozen to death and 5 more wounded. This was followed by Lord Cornwallis trying to box in the Americans between the Delaware River and the Atlantic, and Washington, leaving his campfires burning, slipped away behind Cornwallis. On January 3rd, 1777, Washington met and defeated British reinforcements at the Battle of Princeton. Washington was turning into a brilliant tactician and personal leader. We're going to continue to discuss, go down to the South next, and I enjoyed this. I look forward to talking to you again.